With these incredibly powerful forelimbs, it would pull down its prey before dispatching it with these terrifying teeth.
What if I told you that 15 horrific animals once walked the Earth? Though they're gone now, it's a testament to the fact that the world is a scary place that was once filled with strange occurrences and terrifying animals.
Tristan, otter skeleton is one of the best preserved T-Rex skeletons in the world.
Bloodthirsty animals like the Titanoboa roamed the Earth, and we are so relieved that they are no longer here. How would you feel if your friend was eaten by a T-Rex? What happens when you can no longer visit water bodies because of fear? If you're so excited to find out about these bizarre animals, grab a seat as we look at the 15 deadliest animals that are now extinct. Tyrannosaurus Rex, the 5-feet-long skull creature. About 68 to 66 million years ago, during the late Cretaceous period, an insanely large and scary species walked the face of the Earth. It was the most recognizable and most feared of its kind. You could call it a carnivorous tyrant. With massive jaws and a strange head that could grow the shorter length of an average human, the Tyrannosaurus Rex was horrific. However, that was not the kicker. If the head of a T-Rex was the size of an average human, how big do you think it was? An average T-Rex was 20 feet long, and they could reach up to about 40 feet, making them one of the largest species to ever grace the Earth. Their mouths contained dozens of sharp, long teeth that broke anything in an instant. Weighing at 9 tons, the T-Rex was one of the heaviest species of its age. It was greatly feared. Now imagine a busy day at the farm, and you are trying to till your ground. It seemed like the sun was setting while it was afternoon because a dark shadow stood over you. The moment you raise your head to understand what is going on, you are faced with a T-Rex. What do? Don't think too much about it to avoid seeing this scenario in your dreams. Although the T-Rex was one of the largest animals at that time, it had a glaring flaw. The T-Rex dinosaur was great, but it had short limbs that were useless for hunting. They relied on their powerful jaws to catch and dissect prey. It would use its size to intimidate other dinosaurs like the Triceratops and the Edmontosaurus before subduing them. The T-Rex had a massive bite force up to 8,000 pounds per square inch, and they used it well. Every pointed tool could create large holes in a flesh, puncturing wildly and consuming their prey instantly. The bite force of the T-Rex gave it the capability to eat any part of fun prey, including the hard bones. While the facts have been established for the most part, many paleontologists have had discrepancies after studying the life of the large dinosaur. Some believed that it was simply a scavenger, while others thought it to be a carnivorous predator since it was born with the tools required to hunt. Other paleontologists have concocted wild stories, saying that the T-Rex had feathers, as it probably came from a bird-like kingdom. Just like the T-Rex terrorized the terrestrial bodies, a stunning large species terrorized aquatic life. It was the largest shark species to have ever swam the waters. Megalodon, the big-tooth, large shark. The Megalodon, which is a name for big-tooth, is known for its massive size and its horrific appearance. If fishes could talk, they would probably tell themselves to steer clear of any water body housing the Megalodon. Scientists have studied the Megalodon for years, revealing fascinating discoveries that would tag the Megalodon as the legend of the ocean. The one-of-a-kind large aquatic species filled the ocean about 23 to 3.6 million years ago. Surprisingly, they are way larger than the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and they can grow up to 60 feet in length. I don't think you want to know what that would look like. The Megalodon is over 3 times larger than the largest great white sharks in our world today. Nonetheless, their greatest feature is their large jaws filled with teeth. Imagine a big portal where you can cross to the dark world unknown. That was how it seemed anytime a Megalodon opened its mouth. The teeth in the mouth of a Megalodon could measure over 7 inches long. So anytime the Megalodon catches a prey, every movement towards the stomach slashes the prey, causing multiple deep injuries to the prey and aiding digestion for the Megalodon. According to scientists, the bite force of the Megalodon is estimated to be the greatest of all time, hitting about 40,000 pounds per square inch. Despite its magnificent size, Research has suggested that the Megalodon was an active and agile predator with swift, brutal hunting skills. Its body structure allowed for flexible and powerful swimming. However, scientists have debated the social life of the Megalodon. Some proposed that it was a solitary hunter because of its size, while others suggested that the Megalodon preferred to hunt in groups. The causes of the extinction of the Megalodon are still an input of ongoing research, but scientists have suggested that climate change, the presence of new predators, and the lack of preferred prey may have contributed to the extinction. While all these speculations have people who believe it, another scary predator recently went into extinction. If you think lions are wild and deadly, wait till you meet the king of the night caves, the Sabertoothed Cat, king of the night caves. The saber-toothed tiger is a very strange animal, but it is a symbol of the ferocious and extreme wildness of the cat family from ancient times. It has a body like the modern tiger, but in a more muscular manner. The saber-toothed tiger had contact with early humans during the Pleistocene epoch from 2.5 million years ago to roughly 10,000 years. These big cats were also known as smildons because of the strange structure of their faces. Fossils have been discovered in North and South America, with the La Brea tar pit in Los Angeles holding the most specimens. You may ask why it was called the king of the night, as certain birds like the owl and the eagle lead the night better. An extreme study of the life of a saber-toothed cat revealed that they were happy night hunters rather than day predators. They also did not mind hunting alone. The saber-toothed cat can grow up to 5 feet tall, sending other wild animals flying with their intimidating presence. However, the most important feature of the saber-toothed cat, and what separates it from other kinds of big cats, is its magnificent canines. The canines of a saber-toothed cat can be so long that they outgrow the bottom of their chins. They could grow up to 11 inches long, and when they go into the flesh of their prey, they cause great injuries, fatal enough to cause their prey to bleed out. According to scientists, the canines were extremely fragile, so the saber-toothed tigers had to be careful when they used them. This means that instead of going for strong, bony parts of the body like the head, they'll rather go for the neck and the back. Their diet consisted of wild herbivores like the deer and antelope. Unlike other big cats, the saber-toothed cat is designed to pull down prey only after a short chase. The structure of their body allows for easy flexibility, and they can jump a short distance to their prey rather than pursuing to get close enough to catch a tail. The strange extinction of the saber-toothed cat in the world is still a bone of contention among scientists. What happened to them? Is there at least one of them still in the world? Lack of wild herbivores in the forest and savannas, alongside climate change, may be the reasons for most extinctions. However, human hunting may have contributed too. Maybe they were scared. Saber-toothed cats were not as common as lions, leopards, and cheetahs. Scientists who studied the social life of the saber-toothed cats suggested that they were family-oriented and preferred to hunt in groups. However, this would be when these unique species were still scattered across the world. As they became fewer and fewer, the remaining saber-toothed cats preferred to live in caves, come out only at night, and hunt alone. This may be a form of realization that it had become a hunted species and it needed to adapt. Modern siblings of the prehistoric mammals are nothing like their ancient brothers. The animals at that time were more ferocious and demanding than those in our modern world. Let's look at the giant ground sloth. Giant ground sloth, nothing like their modern brothers. The phenomenon of the modern sloth depicts sluggishness and laziness, but if the prehistoric animals are trying to tell us something, it is simply that they are nothing like their generational brother grazing the face of the modern world. The giant ground sloth was one of the terrestrial kings of the prehistoric era. Its size reiterates the notion that large aliens and humans were allowed to live together thousands of years ago. The giant ground sloth is an intriguing species that lived with humans about 11,000 years ago during the Pleistocene epoch. The giant sloth roams the Americas. They were nothing like their tree-dwelling generational brothers. They were massive creatures, standing up to 20 feet on their hind legs. They were as big as the modern Asian elephants, The giant sloth had a robust skeleton with a large pelvic girdle and a broad, muscular tail. When reaching for high fruits, the sloth used its tail to form a tripod along with its hind legs. It walked on the sides of its feet because its claws prevented it from putting them flat on the ground. The giant sloth could weigh up to 4 tons, making it one of the heaviest mammals at that time. Except like the modern sloth, they were herbivores. Their diet mainly consisted of leaves, fruits, and other plant materials. However, they were far from defenseless. The giant sloth possessed sharp, long claws and strong muscles that helped it to dig for food and blow away any animals trying to fight. Their ability to stand on their hind legs also created an avenue for them to be able to reach high trees and pluck fruits to eat. So, they don't only rely on shrubs closer to the ground, they can reach food from trees as high as 20 feet. However, despite their massive structure and sharp claws, the giant ground sloth was not entirely safe from carnivorous predators. Since the sloths are herbivores, they have simple teeth. They only use their teeth to grind food before swallowing. They cannot use their teeth to tear the flesh of other animals. They were considered prey to carnivores like the saber-toothed tigers. The massive size of adult giant sloths may have helped in scaring or intimidating carnivorous predators. But what about the young giants? What would have saved them? The giant sloths disappeared simultaneously along with the vast majority of other large South American mammals as part of the Quaternary extinction event, dying due to climate change. While this factor alone couldn't have caused their extinction, it is possible that human hunting may have contributed to the extinction of the giant sloth. Although some people find peace in the water, it can be one of the scariest natural bodies, housing some of the most deadly creatures like crocodiles and sharks. Nobody wants a close encounter with a small crocodile, not to mention a giant one. Do you? Deinosuchus, the deadly giant crocodile. Deinosuchus, the deadly giant crocodile, lived in the oceans about 82 to 73 million years ago during the late Cretaceous period. The name Deinosuchus simply means terrible crocodile, depicting that no human could have a close encounter with this beastly aquatic creature and survive. The Deinosuchus is way bigger than any other species of crocodile alive, with the older adults growing up to 35 feet. Apart from the size, all other features are fairly similar to the common crocodile. The Deinosuchus had large, robust teeth built for crushing, and its back was covered with thick hemispherical osteoderms. It also had an alligator-like, broad snout with a slightly bulbous tip. All the teeth in the mouth of the Deinosuchus were very thick and robust. Those close to the rear of the jaws were short, rounded, and blunt. They appear to have been adapted for crushing rather than piercing. It simply means nobody stands a chance, humans or animals, when placed between the jawbones of the Deinosuchus. In 1954, Edwin H. Colbert and Roland T. Bird speculated that Deinosuchus may very well have hunted and devoured some of the dinosaurs with which it was contemporaneous. He claimed it was because of the size of the giant crocodile. There's only so much you can do with such a huge animal. With its massive 4-foot skull, it's hard to run far without getting bitten off. Large birds can be difficult and terrifying, especially if they are coming towards you. I don't even want to imagine what happens. How would you react if a bird as big as the average human is coming towards you? Argentavis magnificens, the human vulture. The Argentavis magnificens is one of the 2 largest flying birds ever discovered by man. I call it the human bird because it is as big as the average human. This bird, sometimes called the giant teratorn, had a humerus that was only slightly shorter than the entire human arm. The species had stout, strong legs and large feet, which enabled it to walk with ease. The bill was large, rather slender, and had a hooked tip with a wide gape. The human vulture had a wingspan between 5.8 to 7 meters, an incredible height of 1.5 to 1.8 meters, about 4.9 to 5.9 feet, and a weight of 110 kilograms, about 242 pounds. From the size and structure of its wings, Scientists assume that the human vulture flew mainly by soaring, using flapping flight only during short periods. Like the average vulture, scientists suggest that the Argentavis magnificens preferred to scavenge for carrion and probably pursued other carnivores from their catch. Argentavis may have also ambushed some small live prey, like large rodents, small armadillos, and the young of large animals, such as ground sloths, because they required about 2.5 to 5 kilograms of meat each day to survive. The skull structure of the human vulture also suggested that it ate most of its prey whole, rather than tearing off pieces of flesh. Almost every water body lover has experienced this horrible feeling of a piece of seaweed rubbing against their leg when paddling and assuming a creature of the deep will eat them. What if it was a giant creature like the Camarasaurs? Camarasaurs, the 20-feet octopus. The Camarasaurs were an ancient and giant ancestor of modern squids and octopuses and lived during the Ordovician era, 470 to 460 million years ago. It was one of the beastly creatures that made life extremely horrible for smaller animals underwater. The giant octopus had a dangerous feature, consisting of massive cone-like shells and tentacles used to trap and crush fishes and smaller creatures in the sea. The adult giant octopus could grow up to 40 feet and weigh about 900 kilograms, making it one of the deadliest creatures underwater. Turtles are usually quiet surfers, gliding through water bodies. They mostly do not engage in violent confrontations with other aquatic animals, but this one is different. Carbonemys, a subtle carnivorous monster. The Carbonemys is an extinct giant turtle that lived about 60 million years ago during the Paleocene, when terrestrial beasts like the dinosaurs and giant sloths went on to extinction. The fact that they survived whatever laid waste to the dinosaurs at that time tells you the level of their resilience. This turtle was carnivorous and had massive jaws, powerful enough to eat large animals like crocodiles, and this is not a joke. Imagine a giant turtle feasting on a crocodile, which is one of the most feared aquatic creatures in the world. A fossil found in Colombia suggests that its shell measured about 1.72 meters, about 5.64 feet, but its entire body was 3 meters, about 10 feet long, and weighed around 453 kilograms. If this turtle did not give a damn about the fierce crocodile, what would have happened if it came in contact with humans? Thank God we were not born then. Most of the deadly animals we have talked about are bigger than us. We already know that something dangerous is about to happen, even when these animals are far off. What about the creatures that take a while to see? Titanoboa, a massive 40-foot earthbender. In the modern world, the green anaconda is the largest snake. It is 6 to 9 meters, about 20 to 30 feet, and 180 to 250 kilograms, 400 to 550 pounds in weight. You are probably opening your mouth in disbelief, because a snake should not be so large. If you have your jaws dropped already, what happens when you hear about the giant Titanoboa? Let's get right into it. The giant Titanoboa crawled the bushes around 58 million years ago during the Pleistocene era. Snakes can be scary, and many are deadly, but not can be compared to the giant Titanoboa. It could give you a panic attack, even from afar. Imagine a snake so big that you can pick out the details of the head from a good distance. You do not want any of it near you. Paleontologists and scientists estimate that the Titanoboa could have a total length of 12 meters, 40 feet, and weigh around 1.1 metric tons, 2,425 pounds. This one appeared not long after dinosaurs went extinct. Documentaries and TV shows have depicted the raw reaction of people who have encountered even the smallest and least dangerous snakes in the world. Some of them would not go back to their house for weeks. Now imagine a strange anaconda sitting pretty in a little forest beside your house. We can only be thankful that it went into extinction before any of us were born. Many people have had and recorded violent encounters with bears. And I can't tell you for a fact that these guys don't understand privacy. It is one thing to get attacked in the forest, but it is another thing to get attacked in your house. If the normal bear could be so violent, what should you expect from the giant short-faced bear? Arctodus, the violent short-faced bear. Although new studies have suggested that the Arctodus was an omnivorous animal, it was widely believed to be one of the largest known terrestrial carnivorans that has ever existed. The extinct animal was the most common bear in early North America between 18 million and 11,000 years ago. The adult male Arctodus stood up to 3.5 meters, about 11.4 feet tall, and weighed more than a metric ton, about 2,204 pounds. Scientists and paleontologists believe they are 50% larger than the largest polar bear in history. Scientists also proposed that the Arctodus had more speed than the average bear, even with its giant hand, legs, and body. Various factors, including the depletion of several large herbivores, the diminishing nutritional quality of plants during climate change, and competition with fellow omnivores, humans and brown bears may have contributed to its extinction. Giant short-faced bears need about 35 pounds of meat per day to survive, but when they had to share the meat with humans and other meat-eaters, you can see why they went on extinction. Before you claim you have seen the strangest creatures, wait till you learn about the Anomalocaris, a weird bird-like creature that thrives underwater. The Anomalocaris, an abnormal underwater creature. Anomalocaris is another word for abnormal shrimp. This unique creature thrived in the earthly waters during the Cambrian period, about 540 to 520 million years ago. Although not as large as the other beastly creatures mentioned in this video, the Anomalocaris was gigantic when compared to the average shrimp in the modern world. After multiple research, it was estimated to be up to 3 feet in length. However, the size of this creature was not the intriguing factor, it was how it was built. The Anomalocaris has strange flexible flaps on the sides of its body. Each flap sloped below the one more posterior to it, and this overlapping allowed the lobes on each side of the body to act as a single fin. It looks like a segmented bat with a weirder body structure. The body was widest between the third and fifth lobe and narrowed towards the tail, with an additional 3 pairs of small flaps on the constricted neck region. The head of the Anomalocaris goes without saying. 2 large frontal appendages were positioned in front of the mouth at the front of the head. The grasping appendages were completed with sharp, knife-like spines, allowing the Anomalocaris to pin or grab his prey with ease and efficiency. Anomalocaris have an unusual disc-like mouth known as the oral cone. The oral cone was composed of several plates organized triradially. These plates are constructed in such a way that they look like the back of a pineapple. The pointed plates allow the Anomalocaris to crush and chew its prey for easy digestion. The Anomalocaris prey consists of smaller arthropods and organisms underwater. The swimming mechanism of the Anomalocaris was another fascinating discovery. The strange creature moved by, propelling a rhythm using the flexible flaps by the side of its body, providing both speed and agility. Specimens of Anomalocaris have been found worldwide spanning from Cambrian stage 3 to the Gujangian. They went on to extinction at the end of the Cambrian era. They could no longer endure adaptation, and the lack of soft-boiled prey could have also played a role in the extinction of the Anomalocaris. Although less scary and ferocious than most of the prehistoric predators, the Anomalocaris shows us the extreme diversity and the ever-evolving mechanisms of generational species, even in our world today. Have you ever noticed a bizarre antique seashell, probably during a picnic at the beach, and when you touch it, it moves violently? The Trilobite could easily be mistaken for an ancient seashell. The Trilobite, a dangerous little seashell. The Trilobite crawled the face of the deep waters about 501 to 253 million years ago. With thousands of unique species crawling across water bodies on Earth, The Trilobite ranged from about 1 inch to 2 feet long. They have a hard exoskeleton, weirdly segmented bodies, and bulgy, complex eyes. They seemed quiet, as they matched swiftly with many legs across the bed of the oceans. The Trilobite was a simple but sophisticated animal during its time. Although the Trilobites were not terrific like the Megalodon, they were classified as scavengers and carnivores. They fed on decayed organic matter at the bottom of the ocean, but they also hunted smaller organisms in the water. Generally, Trilobites maintained high diversity levels throughout the Cambrian and Ordovician periods before their decline and final extinction in the Permian period. As the Trilobites diversified, there were significant evolutionary changes in newer generations. These changes included the origin of new types of eyes, improvement of enrollment and articulation mechanisms, and increased size of pygidium. Exactly why the Trilobites became extinct is not clear, and neither is there a direct combination of reasons. The end Permian marked the final extinction of the Trilobites, along with about 90% of the aquatic life. There are thousands of bird species across the world, and we are fortunate to see some of the most unique ones. Like the modern world, strange birds like the Dodo Bird glazed the prehistoric world. A wise man once said that as much as novelty brings excitement, it also brings the fear of the unknown. The Dodo Bird, standing at 3 feet. Unlike all other extinct prehistoric creatures, the Dodo Bird lived fairly recently, till they went on extinction after some Dutch settlers decided to pitch on the quiet island of Mauritius. When these Dutch settlers decided to make the island of Mauritius their home, they brought with them rats, pigs, and other domestics that directly ruffled the habitat of these unique birds. Along with antelopes, deer, and other forest domestics, the humans hunted the dodo for food, despite rumors that the dodo's nest was not tasty. Before the Dutch settlers landed in Mauritius, the dodo bird did not have any wild predators in their habitat, and they lived peacefully with humans. However, when the Dutch settlers arrived, they became an endangered species, especially with their inability to fly and their specific habitat. They could not thrive in any other environment, and human activities were fast becoming rampant in the small island of Mauritius. Although there is not much written about the dodo bird, they were fairly omnivorous. Scientists have suggested that the dodo bird ate raw fruits. It has also been suggested that the dodo might have eaten crabs and shellfish, like their relatives, the crowned pigeons. However, the extinction of the dodo species and its direct connection to humans has increased conservative efforts and revealed the implications of certain human activities on the ecosystem. If you know of any more extinct animals that could have been dangerous to human existence, you can share them in the comments section below. Who knows, we may decide to make another video with your suggestions. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content.